Okay, this lesson will be about solving proportions. We'll start out with 4 over 3 equals 8 over x. And the primary method of solving proportions is called the cross products method. That means that what you do is you take 3 and you multiply it by 8, and you do the 4 and multiply it by the x. So 4 times x is equal to 4x, and 3 times 8 is equal to 24. And then you've just got an algebraic equation that you need to solve. So the opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4 on both sides of the equation. 4's cancel each other out, and you're left with x equals 6. And the way that you verify that you've got the correct answer is you go 4 over 3 equals 8 over 6. You do your cross products and you go 3 times 8 is 24, and 4 times 6 is 24, which means that you've done the right thing. Now you can also sometimes see relationships. For example, the 4 across to the 8. What relationship does the 4 have to the 8? It is half of 8, or 8 is twice the 4. So if 8 is twice the 4, what number is going to go here? Twice 3. So the answer would be x equals 6. The same answer that we got the last time. Okay, as we look at this one, the first thing that I do is I look to see if there's a relationship like I showed you in the last exercise. But the 4 this time does not go into 22 an exact number of times. So we cannot have a relationship that would be easy to use to solve the problem. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to go 4 times m and negative 3 times 22. So the first thing is 4 times m gives us 4m, and negative 3 times 22 gives us negative 66. So then we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. The 4's cancel each other out, and we're left with m equals, and 66 divided by 4 is 16 and 1/4. And it's negative because there was one negative in the division problem. Okay, this time we have 2 over negative 5 equals 6 over t. And as I said before, the first thing I always look for is to see if there's a relationship that will help me solve the exercise more easily. And this time, as we look at this, we see the 2 and the 6 have a relationship. 6 is 3 times 2. So that means that the t is going to be 3 times negative 5. So t is going to be 3 times negative 5 would be negative 15. And we've already got our answer. Now we're going to be solving a multi-step proportion. This time we're going to be doing 5 times 2q minus 11 and 7 times q plus 2. One of the important things to remember is that when you have a divisor line like this, that means that the things on top and bottom are in parentheses. So you're going to be using the distributive property to be able to solve this. You're going to go 5 times 2q and 5 times negative 11. So 5 times 2q is 10q, and 5 times negative 11 is negative 55. 7 times q is 7q, and 7 times 2 is 14. And now we've got an algebraic equation with the variable on both sides. So let's make sure we have the variable only on one side. So we're going to go minus 7q, minus 7q, and that gives us 3q minus 55 equals 14. We add 55 to both sides, and that gives us 3q equals 69. Divide both sides by 3, and that gives us q equals 23. A portable media player has 2 gigabytes of storage and can hold about 500 songs. A similar but larger media player has 80 gigabytes of storage. About how many songs can the larger media player hold? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write down gigabytes over songs so that we can be consistent in how we put down our proportion. So the smaller media player has 2 gigabytes and will hold 500 songs. The larger media player has 80 gigabytes and will hold, that's what we're trying to find out. So we put X there because we don't know the answer. So now we've got a proportion that we can try to work out. And remember I told you that one of the things I always do is look to see if there's a special relationship that we can use to make this problem easier. Well, 2 and 80. 80 is 40 times 2. So that means that X is going to be 40 times 500. So if you wanted to go ahead and solve it, you could go 500 times 40, and that would give you 20,000. So X is equal to 20,000. Alternatively, you could have done this. You could have gone 2 times X, and you would have gotten 2X. And then you would have gone 500 times 80, and you would have gotten 40,000. Then you would have divided by 2 on both sides, and that would have given you X equals 20,000. Same answer done in 2 different ways.